Hello, and thank you as always for coming to my talk show, Tell It Like It Is. I'm your host, Morris Man, and my co-host, Joseph Spencer, is on assignment today. So today's show is going to be a short show, and it's going to be a special segment, and it's going to be entitled, Why Music is Important. Now, when I was a kid, there were plenty of music programs in the school systems. Now, unfortunately, due to budget cuts, music is usually the first casualty. And a lot of people, they make those decisions for the school system. They figure music is not really important and we can cut it. When actually there are studies that show that most kids that are participating in a music program, some type of music program in school, their grades are better and their overall exceed in life. And one reason being is it's not just about mastering an instrument, it's about being very disciplined, being taught at a very early age to be focused, to master something that's going to take more than a day or two to master. So it's unfortunate that, they look at music as just something that's very minor and they pay it no mind and they cut it from the school systems. And also, what I want to touch on was this, I listen to music today, R&B music, and there is an absence. And what that absence is black bands. What happened to the black bands? When I was growing up, I grew up with the Commodores, Isley Brothers, Rick James, Stone City Band, the Gap Band, you name it. Now, I turn on the radio, it's just solo acts. And initially, people would say this, well, young black guys just don't want to focus and play a musical instrument. They just want to steal samples and make beats. And there's nothing wrong with making beats. But that statement, I believe, is kind of not true. We, even as older people, we follow what's out there for us to be on that path. And back in the day, it was a call for musical bands. Now, unfortunately, I think the music industry is trying to be cheap and not hire, quote unquote, a band as opposed to a solo artist. That's one of the reasons I believe the decline in bands, because they're not trying to sign artists. But it's unfortunate because our young white counterparts, these guys are still putting together bands. You can drive through white neighborhoods and their young guys are in a garage like we used to back in the day playing, which is wonderful. But you drive through our neighborhood, you're not going to find a bunch of young black guys in the garage, mama garage or daddy garage, with the drums out there, the keyboards and the bass and a singer. And unfortunately, we're kind of getting away from that because rock music is alive and well. There's still bands, rock bands, and they're hiring or they are signing these rock bands. But now, unfortunately, R&B black music, we're suffering because we don't have that opportunity anymore. I think it's more or less the industry issue as opposed to young folks just don't want to do it. But I encourage you older people out there to encourage your kids to play, because my mother encouraged me. She wanted to keep her kids busy while she was at work, so she encouraged us to pick up a musical instrument or do something that we had interest in as opposed to hanging out in the streets and worry about getting shot. So I think that we have to step that up too as older black people to say, hey, go to the music store with your kid and pick out a musical instrument and say, hey, I want you to, do your thing. Learn whatever you want to learn. And it would be rewarding if you do that. Because again, our art form is dying. It's like, where are the black bands? And I think the only area of black music that's flourishing and actually growing is gospel music. And that's wonderful because gospel music is pushing out a lot of great, talented, young black musicians. But other than that, I don't see, quote unquote, black bands. And I hope we're not going to let our musical heritage die, because the only band that I can think of, quote unquote, black band is Mint Condition. And they've been around for like 20 years, so they're not new. I think the very last band that I can recall was a group called Joe Public, and I think that was like late 90s. I know I'm not 100% up on every musical aspect out there, and I'm sure that there are a few black bands out there, but they're not plenty like it used to be. I mean, again, I used to go to the record shop, and I used to be there for hours, Gap Band, Confunction, Isley Brothers, just, again, to name a few. So hopefully we don't let our musical heritage die. And this video is going to be short, and basically it's kind of a plea out there to say, hey, young black men and women, pick up an instrument, master it, enjoy it. And also, I'm going to say this quickly for the people that are trying to get into the industry, because I have extensive background in the music industry for over 25 years. It's important, even if you're just quote unquote making beats, it's important to know your craft from a theory standpoint. Learn how to read music, learn how to write music, because if you're going to be in that industry, you should be able or be expected to be able to do that, because when you know how to write music and read it, when you're writing it, you can write it down and you can put it away for several years and come back to it and pick up where you left off. When you just kind of dabbling and playing by ear, a week later you go back to what you were working on and you forgot what you were doing. You don't remember how to do it, and that's because we just totally relying on memory as opposed to writing it down. So I really encourage all you young black people out there and all young people in general to learn theory. If you're going to be a part of the music industry, learn how to read music. So on that note, I thank you for viewing my show, my special show. And until next time, keep thinking and take care.